Studio 304 in the KCOC Student Center in the heart of Kaufman, Texas. It's the Tonight Show starring Chris Dow. Tonight, join Chris and special guest Kari Rough. Kari is an amazing woman of faith. She is a servant to all and one of the most encouraging people you will ever meet. Kari has an incredible faith journey to share with you tonight that has shaped her into who she is today. And now, here he is, your host, Chris Dow!
I missed it again. It's only the sixth show of the second season. I still don't know the intro song, but
blame it on the sound booth.
It's alright, blame it on the sound. Yeah. We had a live band, and it ended when I signaled that they ended. But we got a great show tonight. This is our sixth show, and this is our last show of 2019. But it is not the last show of season 2 because we will be back in January to close out season 2. More guests, more games, more fun stuff going on after the new year. But this is our last show of 2019. Next Wednesday is our youth group Christmas party. Then we have a special activity we're going to do leading up to Christmas, and then Christmas break. So this is our last show before the end of the year, but in January we will be back to close out season 2. So this is our Christmas show. Last season we did 4 special shows counting down the weeks till Christmas, but because Thanksgiving was really late this year, we have one show to count down the weeks until Christmas. So we're going to cram it all into one big Christmas spectacular program tonight. Alright. Y'all know what that music means? That means it's time for giveaways and presents because it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Alright. Alright, so there are 4 lucky winners tonight. If you will look underneath your seat, there will be cards underneath there. A number 1, a number 2, a number 3, and a number 4. If you got a card, come up to the front. If you got a card, come up to the front. Line up here. Alright, here's part of the game. Line up in numerical order up here at the front. Stealing in church. Shame on you. Alright, get in numerical order up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who are missing? There's. Alright, check the seats around. Oh, here we go. Number 4. Alright. What number are you? You're 3. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Alright, so time for some giveaways. Sir, you are the winner of whatever is behind door number 4. Tell the audience your name, sir.
Aiden.
Aiden, what grade are you in?
6th.
6th grade. All right, everyone give Aiden a hand. All right, you can open up door number 4. Whatever is behind door number 4 is yours. So there you go. All right, we get, let's see, hold over the ground. All right, we got a Meowie Catmas. Merry Catmas. There you go. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. All right, number 3. Tell everyone your name and grade.
Hadley, I'm in 6th grade.
All right, Hadley in 6th grade. You get whatever is behind door number 3. Give her a big round of applause. Door number 3. All right, you got a snowman turtleneck.
Yeah. I'll give you $100 if you wear it.
There you go. All right. All right. Our next contestant is number 2. Tell everyone your name and grade.
Audrey in 10th.
All right. Audrey in 10th grade. You get whatever's behind door number 2. Drum roll, everybody. Drum roll. Hey. Put it on. They're all Christmas themed shirts. All right. And number 1. Tell everyone your name and grade.
My name's Kat, and I'm in 12th grade. Yes, ma'am.
Kat in 12th grade. Big drum roll. Door number 1. Let's see what you won. Well, there you go. What do we got? Oh, you got a nativity scene Christmas sweatshirt right there. Jesus. All right. Yeah. Oh no, that's all for you. But I know everyone else is saying, oh, but I didn't get a prize. But that's okay, because at the Christmas special giveaway show, everybody gets a prize. Everybody gets candy canes! Woo!
Thanks so much!
Back row people. Oh, yep, see, I can get it. All right, sound booth people, here we go. Coming at you. Oh, our back row people. Okay. Alright guys, we got a great show, a lot of stuff planned, y'all stick around. That was not a commercial break yet. We're having a lot of technical difficulties. I think
The church gremlins are.
Santa's gonna have to bring me a new laptop because it is beyond dead at this point. So, all right. So we got a great show planned. We had a little bit of a Thanksgiving break, focus. I'm focused. Drawing it in. So we had a little bit of a Thanksgiving break last week, but we are back. This week we got this one show, and then we'll have a break for the holiday season and be back after the first of the year. And so while we were on Thanksgiving break, Stephanie and I got the opportunity to go out to Tampa Bay, Florida for the National Youth Workers Convention. It was really cool out there. So while I was out there, I took some videos of some of the things that we got to do and people we got to see. So we're going to watch that now.
So Stephanie and I were out last week for the National Youth Workers Convention in beautiful sunny Tampa Bay, Florida. It was their 50th year of this convention. We got to do a lot of cool stuff. Basically, this is like a soul link for youth ministers. So we worshiped and had a bunch of different classes that we went to, had some games and fun activities we did. At night, just like 3,000 youth ministers having a ball, going crazy. It was really cool. Steph actually got in one of the late night entertainment things, got called up on stage by a magician and got her brain fried. Really freaked out over him. He was pretty incredible. Then one night we had worship led by David Crowder, which was amazing. Had my picture taken with Santa. He had his picture taken with me. Got to hang out with the Skit guys, Tommy and Eddie. Really cool guys to hang out with and hilarious to watch up on stage. And then at night, Steph and I would head down town for dinner and just walk along the water, see the lights, see the sights. They had a lot of cool stuff going on there to check out and see. A lot of beautiful weather, a lot of beautiful things to do, places to go and hang out. One day we made it down to Clearwater and saw Winter, star of Dolphin Tales. Got to see her swimming around there and see her tail and or lack thereof. But cool story to see there. And then one night we were walking back and I saw this guy and he was jamming on his guitar for money and just had a cajon sitting there and nobody playing. So I was like, hey, where's your drummer? And he's like, he said it's too cold to play. And so I was like, do you mind if I sit in? He's like, sure, come on. And so I sat down and we jammed out some songs and talked for a while, talked to each other, and of course, you know, couldn't have a jam session underneath a bridge downtown without singing Under the Bridge. So jammed that a little bit, had some fun, and then kind of talked background and found out he was a believer. And so we talked about some worship songs and talked about life and what all was going on. And so we kind of closed up our set there under the bridge downtown, playing Blessed Be Your Name, which was really awesome just to jam and sing with him, just have a little worship session there under the bridge in downtown Tampa Bay, Florida. Blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, turn back to praise. Kind of got me thinking, you know, met this really cool guy here, and just kind of randomly on the streets, and so then I was like, hey, tomorrow I think I'm just gonna go down to the street and try to talk with some people and see who I can meet and what other cool stories I can hear. So it was pretty cool. So went and did that the next day.
All right, I am here in Tampa, Florida, checking out Youth Specialties National Youth Workers Convention. Been an awesome weekend, worshiping, praising. Came downtown for some lunch, and so just kind of checking out the downtown scene. Lots of people hanging out, doing stuff. And so I just thought, you know, as we're hanging out down here, maybe I get someone from Florida, see if I can find someone here on the streets to say hi to y'all. Excuse me, sir, could you say hi to my youth group? Of course.
Hi, youth group. What it do? It's been a couple months. How y'all doing? You know, I miss y'all. I love y'all. But even though I'm not there, y'all gotta keep it going. So this is the Tonight Show with Chris Dow, and be prepared to have some fun. But before that, I'm just gonna say I miss y'all. Y'all are real family to me. Y'all are the ones, the onlys, and will never be replaced. And I plan on coming back soon. Not saying when, but you know, just hope and pray that all goes well and that y'all see me real soon. But you never know. I may just show up whenever and y'all won't know. But other than that, love y'all, miss y'all, y'all are family, and hope to see y'all soon. Bye, y'all.
Alright, that's right. Me and the I-Man hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
In Tampa, eating some fish.
Oh, yeah.
Good times.
That was great.
Good times. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for saying hi. Love you, too. Alright, so those are cool. So Isaiah and Latrina met us downtown. We took them to lunch and hung out Sunday afternoon, and they wanted to make sure that everyone gets hugs from them. They love y'all. They miss y'all. Could not stop talking about everybody here and how much they missed everyone here and wish that they could be here. And we actually talked about like how cool would it be like fly Isaiah in and like he like come out from behind the curtain, but he has school this week, and so they didn't think it was worth flying him across the country and missing school. So, but yeah, so we're working on trying to bring him in at some point. So maybe in a future show, I don't know. You know, just have to stick around. We got a lot of stuff planned tonight. We got a great guest tonight that'll be coming out after the commercial break. So y'all stick around. Don't go anywhere.
The bounty of Earth. This is the cube of Rubik. This simple puzzle was actually considered unsolvable by the humans.
Do they not have brains?
Simple ones. Now, this was apparently a 21st century torture device.
How long would they keep them strapped in there?
Sometimes hours at a time. Pretty gruesome. And over here we have their alphabet. It was called emoji. Few symbols could express the vast extent of their emotion. They had chia pets, just like we do. And this is the white and gold dress that caused the Civil War. This is Scott Baio. Anybody want to feed Scott Baio? It's included in the price of admission. No?
I mean, he double dipped. He'll regenerate.
No, he won't. He was a quad moker.
Just ended abruptly. We're back. Done. The band finally figured out when to just cut it off. So whenever that.
Or not.
What's happening? All right. So tonight we have a very special guest here to share her story, her life, and talk with y'all. I want y'all to give her your utmost attention. She has a lot of really important things to say that you need to hear. I want y'all to put your hands together and welcome Miss Kari Rough. All right, so for those who don't know, this is Kari Rough. She is a member here, and so some of you may recognize her from church on Sunday mornings, and she has an incredible story to share with y'all. So, Kari, why don't you share with us a little bit about just kind of day to day what you do during the day now. So, like,
well, now that since I'm a child of the '80s and I figured out the Rubik's Cube, who knows the secret?
yeah.
Take the stickers off.
No, you don't take the stickers off. Never take the stickers off. It's all about the corners, so remember that. If the corners line up, everything else falls into place. Apply that to your life too, and you will figure out that commercial.
All right.
Yeah. But thank you for having me.
Yes.
And
thanks for being here.
It's my honor to be asked to be in front of you beautiful souls here. And yeah, I love kids. I do. I know I was made to be a mom, and I'm a mother of a bunch of bonus kids. So any of you can be considered one of mine too. So
There you go.
if you ever need it, you know where to come. I have a business in town. It's on the square in front of the courthouse. It's the big old drugstore that says Green Slade Drugstore across the top, but it's not a drugstore. It's called the Charter Room. And we do a lot of things in there. There's places to meet, to study, to use the Wi-Fi, to grab a cup of coffee or hot chocolate. And there's a little gift shop up front. So We're really involved in the community, and we have all kinds of things that go on up there. We're trying to revitalize the square, and there's really not a lot of places around Kaufman to walk around. And excuse my frogginess, I've kind of had a cold this week.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have a voice today, because earlier I didn't. So we're really trying to get the foot traffic back up there and have it more of a place to come and congregate, to hang out, and just enjoy a good time with your family and your friends and everything. And since there's just not a whole lot of places to walk around town, so we're trying to make that a good common ground to hang out.
And you have a very, very welcoming place, and as we're going to talk more and more tonight, you are very hospitable and a great host, and very encouraging, and very welcoming to people, and so you have a great place down there, and just the work that you do with people and meeting people, greeting people, making people feel at home, I think is a real gift that you have. Now you're married. How long have you and Kevin been married?
I am. So, we've been married for 26 years.
26 years.
We have, actually, Miss Leanna is our cousin. So not a lot of people know that. And we didn't forever. Yeah. And anyway, I have a wonderful husband. He is the sweetest, kindest man I've ever known in my life, besides my granddaddy's. And I would say my dad, but he gets a little crabby sometimes. So he'll get there one day, I think. But he's a police officer in Mesquite. He's a sergeant, a detective for the homicide and robbery division. So he's seen a lot of mistakes that people have made, and a lot of consequences coming down. But he's also seen a lot of great things circle back around to people that have been in tough spots, either on the victim side or the offender side. So we've seen a lot in our days outside of the home as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. So y'all been together for 25 years, and have
Married 26.
Married 26. I mean, sorry.
Together 28.
28. All right. So together 28, married 26. And y'all have been through a lot of things over those years. And want to talk about some of that tonight. So it was 7 years ago, if I remember correctly.
7 years ago
tomorrow. So almost 7 years ago to the day that y'all's world was rocked. And we have a news clip from that.
19-year-old Megan Rough died in Lubbock in 2012 when a drunk driver, Jason Chad White, rear-ended her car on Glenna Goodacre Boulevard. The vehicle spun into the median. She was ejected even though she was wearing a seatbelt. Police report White's blood alcohol content was 0.20. That's more than twice the legal limit. A judge sentenced White to 15 years for intoxicated manslaughter in 2016.
So, Megan, your oldest daughter, and so 7 years ago tomorrow is when y'all got the news that she was killed in a car accident. And so she was a student at Texas Tech.
Yes.
What year was she there?
She was in her second year at Texas Tech. She was a pre-med student. She wanted to be a pediatrician or a pediatric surgeon if she felt she could go that far. And she's always been really interested in surgeries and just really scientific minded. And aside of all the other things she did, she was very active, a very talented athlete. She played everything there was, except she tripped over her own feet in soccer for some reason. I don't know why she couldn't handle that, but that was okay. She kind of started on the baseball field, didn't she, Leanna, with you? She was on her t-ball team when she was this big. So, but took school very seriously. She was a great student. She had tons of friends. She, I don't think she ever had an enemy. If she did, they haven't had the nerve to tell me. So anyway, I'm partial, but she truly was just a light. She was that type of a girl that from 5 years old to 19 years old, she would tackle you with a hug when she came in the door because she was just that full of joy, and it was all the time. And I don't care how bad the world had tried to kick her down or you know, does anybody know what drama is? In school? Raise your hand if you've heard of drama. Yeah, it's a lot. Raise your hand if you've ever been broken up with a boy or a girl.
Oh, sorry, Donnie.
No, only one person's ever been dumped in here? Okay, there's a few more. Okay. That happened in her life too. But the way she handled it was just always very mature, even more mature than the advice I could give back to her. She was level-headed, very driven, shook off anything that didn't matter, and just moved forward. And so when it was time to go off to college, she knew she wanted to go to Texas Tech in Lubbock, 5.5 hours away, and because she wanted to be a doctor. And she knew, she studied and looked through since junior high all the way through high school. She looked at that medical school. And she talked to many people who had been through the medical school. And there were a lot of mission trips, medical mission trips. There were just so many opportunities for her to travel, to do what she wanted to do, and then also find some type of a path that could give her specifically time for 11 children. I don't know how in the world she thought she was going to do that, but she was a kid lover, which was what she wanted, why she wanted to go to pediatrics. And she finished high school early. She graduated high school with 27 college hours. She didn't finish high school early. She finished on time, but she nearly graduated as a sophomore because she had so many hours, and she dropped the last 3 so she could go in as a freshman and be with her own age and not have to move forward. And she said, I'm tired. My body's tired of being an athlete. I want to spend more time in the Word. I have not been able to be that involved in youth group like I want to. She went every Wednesday night, and she did all of the little summer camps and all of that kind of thing, but she really wanted to just focus more on what God wants me to do, not what the coach and the teachers and mom and dad and my friends' parents and the community wants me to do, but what he's calling me for. And so she was just very level-headed at that. And so this week is the week of finals and for the first semester. And so her and I were on the phone earlier that day, and as I was leaving a meeting, headed home, and she said, well, we're going to get tacos, and then we're going to go grab some folks over at Garrison's house, and we're going to house hop to go. Garrison and them are cooking out, and Victoria and them are making cake balls, and all of these people, this is what they did in college. Nobody could afford a full meal. So everyone would kind of pick something that they would fix, and they would house hop until they got the full meal in between studying and then go back and forth between the library. And they didn't all have cars, so a lot of times they shared. Yeah. So that was their routine for the night. And she texted me as she was leaving. She was getting to the last house they went to. And she said, we've got to talk about Christmas presents. So call me in the morning. I said, no, you call me because you're going to be up studying all night, right? And she said, all night. I have 4 finals tomorrow. What was I thinking? And I said, well, you can handle it. And so that's the last time we talked. She sent me a good night message at 10:15, and about 12:20 we received a phone call from the hospital that said your daughter's been in a wreck, and we're going to need y'all to come out, and it's critical. And that's all we knew. Our son at the time was a senior in high school here in Coffin, and he was asleep, and they talked to my husband on the phone, not me. And thank God, because I don't know that I could have asked any questions. I probably would have left the phone laying there and just got in the car. And I went and I said, how bad? And he said, Kari, I don't know, but she's been intubated. And if you don't know what that means, it means she needs help breathing. So they put something down her throat to help push the air in. And that told me, okay, if she can't grab air, this is really bad. And so that's all we knew for about 200 miles. And didn't know what happened. We didn't know what her injuries really were, just that it was critical. And so one of her friends, the house that she was leaving, let us know before we got there that she had been, that a car hit her and her roommate Caitlin, that Caitlin was okay, as far as they knew. They didn't know anything about anybody or how it happened. And I will fast forward through a lot of details, but I will say this, when we got there, she did not have any brain activity, but she was breathing with help of the machines. Her heart was beating strong, and I heard it as fast as I could get my ear on it. And I watched that heart monitor, and it never missed a rhythm. And it was as strong and powerful as whenever I heard her in my stomach when I was pregnant with her through a sonogram. And so that gave me my first piece of hope. And I have carried that with me through so much more. So they needed to, her brain was swelling inside of her skull, and they had to do some surgeries to try to relieve some of that pressure. And it didn't help, but they tried everything that they could. And they asked if she is not able to make it in the next 24 hours, if we would, her license said that she was an organ donor. Is that how we want to proceed? And we said, absolutely. And so while they coordinated all of that, we were blessed to be with her for 2 days. We got to hold her hand, we washed her hair, we painted her nails, we put her favorite lotion on her legs, and we played her music from her iPhone, and actually that was kind of a godsend. Does anybody know how an iPhone syncs up on someone else's computer if you just need to charge it for still little battery? The week before that, or 2 weeks before that, at Thanksgiving, I plugged my phone into her computer while we were up talking late one night, and her music dumped onto my phone. Praise the Lord. And so the nurse was in there, and I said, it's just weird being in here doing fingernails and girls' night and all of our pajamas. We had about 60 people in that hallway and in that room for days. I mean, there were hundreds for days in there. And I said, it's just wrong for us to be doing all this without music. And the nurse said, turn it on, and you turn it up as loud as it'll go. She shut the door, and the first song that came on was Addison Road, This Little Light of Mine, because she loved her praise music. And anyway, that was another little bit of hope. It just said, I'm okay no matter what. I'm giving beyond. And the next day we had to let her go. The day after that, she was able to, her heart is still beating somewhere in this world. She is a human being living in 2 places. If that is powerful enough for you to get. To each person it's their own choice, but wow, to just think about you're living here and you're living there, there's a piece, and so there was a blessing in that. There were so many things that we had to discover right off the bat when we thought our world was over, there's some things we've got to grab onto, like you're grabbing branches when you're falling off a cliff, right? Sometimes the branches break and you have to grab another. They don't always hold. And we held on to those lessons as much as we could. And so we buried her December 14th, and the following Monday, Kaufman High School was letting out for Christmas break, so what was the point in our son going back to school for partial of a day? And so he missed from the night of December 5th until after January, and that was his best friend in the world. Now Megan, she was just always happy and everything, and so was Cody in the mud and messing with stuff, and he was all boy, and every bit of him was beautifully imperfect too. I mean, we're all imperfect, but I mean, they were the perfect balance of having everything in a human being spread into two. And it was just, our family was perfectly balanced. And she was his voice of reason whenever he kind of hit the dumps, or he'd drag himself across some tough waters. And so he lost his very best friend in the senior year of high school, and they were only 2 years apart in school, so they shared a lot of the friends. She cheered and played ball and had classes and went to church and school and played in the neighborhood with a lot of the same kids that he was still in school with. And when he went back, he couldn't escape it, if that makes any sense. And he struggled for a very long time. Well, to rewind to the night of the wreck, I have to go to the other side of the fence for a minute to you kids, because this is what we talk about in our mission of, sorry, that's just in our mission of what we do today at the charter room, in the community, out in Lubbock, other places that we go. Is there's another side of that was so preventable. It didn't have to happen. And I mean, we're not alcohol drinkers. We don't use drugs or alcohol as kids or anyone underage. That's just always a definite no. There's a reason there's an age minimum on it, for very good reason. But no matter the circumstance, should anyone ever get behind the wheel of a vehicle if they're not okay? And that doesn't just mean alcohol. That means drugs. It means you don't feel good. It means you might have had some Allegra or Claritin or something for your allergies, or an antibiotic from the dentist, or whatever. If things are not clear and you just don't feel okay, just don't drive. You don't have to. There are too many options. But this act that this young man committed, he was also 19 years old, and out of a school of 40,000 kids, they actually knew each other. Wow. They didn't hang out together, they weren't friends, but they had a lot of the same friends. And I even came across a picture of her at a Christmas party, because she had a bow on her head about the size of my shoulders, and it was big, and just like her personality was. And she's sitting there petting this dog. I said, whose dog was that? And her friend, just the color drained from his face, and he said, that was Chad White's dog. I said, the Chad White that hit our girls? And he said, yeah. He said, he had this dog at this person's house that night, and she had to go take a selfie with it. Wow. And there were just so many things that were so strangely connected in that. And he had two friends in the truck with him, and they turned off of University Drive, which is a very busy college street right next to the stadium, and turned on a street called Glenna Goodacre Boulevard. And it's a beautiful street. It has apartments and cottages and little businesses all the way down it. And It's nothing but college kids that live there, just about. And there's a stop sign every block. There's a huge median up the middle. Did you see the picture on the pole that said Bay? That was a picture of it. A smaller, less traveled street than Washington Street. And this guy, with two of his good friends in his truck, turned onto that street and through 4 stop signs, punched it in a 1-ton diesel 4-wheel drive truck with a turbo chip and a ranch hand bumper, so it's powerful, and punched it and went 110 down that street. And what stopped him in his path was that little Ford Fusion from Kaufman. That was her car. She was seatbelted in, and it ejected her from the back. That's how powerful that hit was. You can imagine being in the front seat of your car and the force pulling you backward out of your car so hard that it pulls you out for yards. And through the seatbelt and everything, it sucked her out back. That's how big when you're traveling forward and you hit something, where do you go? You go forward, right? Well, if you're hit backward, where does the force go? The opposite way. You can try that with marbles, just to see the physics of it. That's what happened with her. And the force was so powerful that all of the 6, that's exactly right, all of the 6 cars that were parked along the side of that street, he took all of those out too. So the first car he hit, it spun her car into all of the trees and the medians and the light poles and the trash cans and all the pretty Christmas decorations that were already up. And the second car he hit, it catapulted 8 houses up, and it bounced off of a house. Remember that part? The house it bounced off of. Bounced off of a house and went further 2 houses down until it finally came to a stop. And that was the second parked car that nobody was in. So that's the amount of force one pickup truck can do at 110 miles an hour. It would have done the same at 80 miles an hour, the forensics said. So many things were not even necessary. He wasn't running for his life. It wasn't a, oops, I dipped off the road. It was arrogance when his friends were screaming and saying, man, this ain't cool, slow down, slow down. They scooted over and buckled their seatbelts because they were afraid for their life, and he got faster and faster. That's what alcohol and drugs can do to your sense of understanding. He is now in prison for 15 years. A maximum security penitentiary for 15 years. And he has a long time to think about that. But he gets to come home in his 30s, and he gets to have a family, and he gets a second chance, and his family gets him back. He sat in the courtroom when we went through the trial, and his parents were just as kind and sweet as anybody else sitting on the church pews in our church on Sunday morning. Next Sunday, when you're looking around at any of those families, think about, that could be that family or that family or that family. Any families can be affected. And so this side of the courtroom was our family, and so many friends and supporters in the community that even traveled all the way across Texas to come sit there and support. Just as many were on this side that was for him, to support him, as they knew that there's a good chance he's not coming home today. And his parents said, well, when he was 16 and he had alcohol problems, we thought we fixed it when he took the classes. And when he was 17 and he got arrested and had his license taken, we went through those motions and did what the judge said and did everything they said. We're a farming family. They thought they were doing the right thing. But it's not. You can't put everything on your parents. You can't put everything on the judicial system and everybody that is trying so hard to keep us in line. So when I speak to young kiddos about how much this can affect somebody. It didn't just affect this lady sitting here on this couch that could be boring you to tears and could be totally changing your life, whatever the case may be. It affects hundreds and thousands, and it's a ripple effect, just like throwing a stone in the water. There's a ripple, and there's a ripple from that. And you throw a handful of stones in, there's bunches of ripples. And that never ends, really. It continues to go. Well, we had to find new purpose, and so we tried our best to get back to life, and we had to learn how to parent the grieving, and so we did the best we could with that, and thought we did a great job, and still think we did a great job, and it was hard. Oh, it was everything we could do to keep that boy, and he loved to fight. Oh gosh, I don't care if it was a friendly fight, rolling in the grass with his buds, and Mama, at 5 years old, wipe the blood out of my eyes. I can't see. Or wipe the stuff out of my eyes. Chance is waiting on me. I'm like, what happened? I don't know. We got in a fight. I gotta go play. You know, they were just boys. They were rambunctious, rowdy boys. But the biggest heart, he'd also walk up with a little bird on his finger and say, something is wrong. I don't think he can weave good. And that went on until he was 19 years old, 20 years old, and we were still calling him Snow White because he just melted at a little child, and kids just flocked to him like they did sister. So, I mean, he just had such a golden heart, and that's one thing that I do know nobody can take away from us is that our kids have good hearts.
Yeah.
Mike, what is your deal, man?
Come on, man. You've been riding me all day.
Mike, you're playing like Betty White out there.
That's not cool.
Eat a Snickers. Better?
Better. That hurt.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-woo! Ronnie, how happy are students to go to after-school break time?
I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day?
Get happy. Get after-school break time every Wednesday after school.
So that was 7 years ago tomorrow, and then 2 years ago, coming up this January, Your World Was Rocked again. We're going to watch that.
The Rough family grieving yet again. They're forced to relive memories of losing a daughter to a drunk driver because now they have lost their son.
23-year-old Kari Rough, the brother of Megan Rough, reportedly died in a crash northwest of Kaufman, that's southeast of the Metroplex. Troopers report Rough's truck went into a ditch and rolled. He was ejected. Kari Rough, the victim's mother, has lost both of her children in traffic crashes. She expresses gratitude on Facebook for the prayer, love, and support during this time of great sorrow. Visitation for Kari Rough set for Friday night with services Saturday morning in Kaufman in lieu of flowers. The family is asking for donations to the Megan Rough Memorial Foundation. That's a nonprofit set up to advocate against drunk or impaired driving. We have that information in Fox 34.
So just months after the 5-year anniversary of Megan's death, y'all get the phone call that Cody's been killed in a car accident as well, and just have to relive the same story over again almost.
Absolutely. He had not passed yet by the time we got the call. I was actually up at the charter room painting a little tray for a Christmas present for a customer to pick up the next day. My husband was working overtime at a basketball game in Mesquite, and by the way, they left his name out there. I notice that every time I hear it. It's not just Kari, but he kind of has this "don't put my name out there" because of his job, and we kind of have to be like, "Yeah, I'm a single mom." But anyway, he was a very good father, and he was on his way home from Mesquite at 8 o'clock that night and called me, and I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and finish this up tonight so I don't have to finish it tomorrow. So I'll probably be here until about 9:30 or so. He said, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I said, good deal, I'll see you when I get home. And that happens a lot. I'm nocturnal. I'm a night owl, and especially after we lost Megan, I don't sleep as much at night as well. And so he calls me back and says, he said, I need you to get your shop locked up. I'm coming to pick you up. I said, why? He said, Cody's been in a wreck and we need to go to the hospital. I said, he's alive? He said, yes, but he's critical. And I went, dear God. I locked it up and I started turning things off and everything, and as I turned to walk to the front doors of my shop looking toward the courthouse, I see him and two troopers walk up, and I was instantly angry. Angry was my word. I mean, angry. I just, no. And I said, why are y'all with him? I knew one of them. He's one of our neighbors, and he was working the wreck. And I said, why are you with him? And he said, Kari, you just need to go up there. You're okay. I mean, he's still alive, I believe. And so we fly up there, and just as we walked up to the door, and we saw him laying in there with all the nurses and everybody around him. He's in a seat collar. I don't know if you know what that looks like, but it's just, to stabilize you. And we couldn't tell that he was gone. But the little nurse came out and she said, may I help you? I said, yes, we're mom and dad. That's our son, and we're going in. And she said, have you talked to Dr. whoever? I said, no, we just stopped walking and we know nothing. And she turned and flipped the blind shut, and she said, I need you to talk to Dr. so-and-so. And my husband said, okay, we've been down a similar road, and you can tell us exactly what we need to know before we walk in that room, but we're going in. I can't stop her, and neither can you. And he said, please tell us. And she said, he's dead. And all I could do was throw my Whataburger cup of ice on the floor and apologize to whoever was right there. And we went in and laid with him for 5 hours. We didn't make a phone call, and we laid there with our child for as long as we could. And I said, I'm not leaving until you take him, till it's time to take him. So, end of story. And so that's what we did. And that was our blessing, to have that glimmer of time with him, because there are a lot of parents that don't get to see their children and don't get to touch their children. And they might not ever see them again, or something. That was a blessing. We found that blessing. And we knew how to look for it by this point in our life. And there were a lot of other questions to follow, but one thing we knew, that he was not doing anything wrong, other than he did not have his seatbelt on. Now, with her, she did have her seatbelt on, and she still didn't make it. I'm not saying don't wear your seatbelt, always buckle it up, but we do have, neither one of our children suffered. He was on his way home from work, and well, he had just gone home from work and showered, and he ran up the road and turned around and came back to meet one of his friends at the house so that they could finish working on a fire pit. And he said, you grab this and this, I'll grab this and this, and we'll meet back at the house and we'll work on that. I'll start the grill. So his friend was getting off work, and he stopped to pick up the meat for them to grill fajitas or whatever they were going to throw on there, and finish welding this fire pit that he had been working on the day before when Kevin and I were at his house. And he slipped off of the edge of the road, and it was January, so in 1 month we get to relive our 2-year mark there. And but his welding truck was so heavy, and it was on a curve, and it just gained the wrong direction of momentum as the road was pulling away. And as he was trying to get back up to the side of it, there was one of his wheels just caught, and it barrel rolled him, and it ejected Cody, and he was flung 60 feet into a fence. And his heart stopped there. His heart stopped in the care flight, and it stopped in the trauma unit, and it stopped during the CT scan. But it kept coming back. They kept telling me all the times that his heart stopped and they resuscitated him. But it kept coming back without paddles, without shocks, it kept coming back with so much broken. His neck was broken. So many bones were broken. But his spirit was not broken, and that heart was hard pumping. And his heart sac was torn. The sac around his heart was torn too. There were broken ribs. There were so many things that were just, he took a ride. He did. And but his heart came back for over 3 hours until the very second that we walked up there. And I know in my heart that the Lord did not want us to see either one of them take their last breath or leave to enter their own, leave to go home, back home. So, but neither one of them suffered. I do know that, and they both died of a brain injury, which kind of pulls the consciousness, they say, out of any pain that's going on. And but the vehicles are nothing to mess around with. Yeah.
We are about out of time, but we have several questions, and the main theme in all of these questions kind of boils down to, so you've been through these 2 tragedies, and that have left you losing both children. How is it that you have managed to keep your faith and keep your spirit alive? Because as I said before, and people that know you, you are so positive, you are so encouraging, you're so loving, and you just live very boldly in your life. And so how do you keep that spirit, how do you keep that faith after going through such terrible trials like this?
Well, that's all we have left, and that is the one promise that we have. There's nothing in this world that can change that. Anything can be taken from us. Our friends, our job, our belongings, our home, our car, our freedom, everything. Read the book of Job, backwards and forward, as many times as you can. He was our inspiration. He never turned his back on who his guy was. His guy was God, and not once did he say, I don't want him. Bring it on. Why? But bring it on. and when you don't know how to fix something, you have to go to where the promise is. That is the only place to go, is where you know that promise is. The second time around, we had no excuse but to go there because he had already proven it in huge ways.
Yeah. He's gotten you through it once, he can get you through it again.
You bet.
So.
And everything can be taken from you, but only we have the power to give up our strength and to give up our hope. We give that away. It can't be taken. I don't care if you can't speak or see or move. You give your strength away, or you keep your strength and keep going. And that only comes from the Lord. It only comes from the Holy Spirit that works through you. And if you are his tool, I realize I found that through years of having to get through the whys. And I have my bad days. I'm not saying every day is we find a blessing. There are days where sometimes we choose not to see that blessing because we just need to wallow in the pain a little bit to appreciate the blessing. And if you can just, everyone close your eyes for a minute and just imagine a dark screen, a dark room, and all you can see is one little tiny pinhole of light. There's no light anywhere but a teeny tiny pinhole. That's where you go. That's it. It's that easy. You can't see that tiny light if you are not in the darkness sometimes. So that's what got me there.
Well, thank you so much for your willingness to share. I know they're not easy memories to go over, but I thank you for sharing those because as we hear those stories, we know that if any of us are ever to go through something similar, or heaven forbid the same thing, having those stories of knowing someone who's walked that road before, and in your case have walked that road twice, becomes an anchor in our lives when we're faced with something similar, to be able to remember those stories of those people who have gone on before us, those people who have walked that road before us, and it becomes an encouragement for us to stay strong and to keep that faith as well, in the same way that you've kept that faith and remained so positive and encouraging. So, Kari is a great person to talk to. As you've heard tonight, she has a lot of life experience. And is a very strong woman of faith, and so she loves talking, and will talk with you anytime. So if you ever need anyone to share with, talk with, go to, she is someone great to seek out and find her, and a great person to talk to and mentor you. So thank you for coming here tonight, Jeff.
Been dumped on by 2.5 gallons of nacho cheese, crushed cookies, eggnog, and leaves. It's been doused with water, smacked, and egged twice. It is the most abused suit in the world.
I don't always use dry cleaning, but when I do, I prefer Lops. Stay clean, my friends.
Lots Cleaners of Kaufman, Texas is the official cleaners of the Tonight Show starring Chris Dow, not a sponsor.
Life is filled with choices, and those choices have consequences. Christmas break will be here before you know it, and you will have to choose what to do with all of your time off. Make the right choice and register today for the winter retreat. Anything else is just a waste of your time.
So, powerful night, powerful story from Kari. And so tonight, as we kind of wrap up, we're going to do a little activity, a little fun activity called Tonight Show Mad Lib Theater. And so the way this works is it's kind of like, it's a classic Mad Lib, and so as quickly as we can, I need to get some descriptive words from you. We have a couple people, if y'all just want to like sit down there on the floor and get something where you can bear on.
Speed round.
Yeah, speed round. So
I'll give anyone a ride home with me.
So as we go through them and ask these, they're going to fill these out on cue cards, and then here in a minute, we're going to act out this this play, this skit, with the words that you give me. So I need a dessert. Number one is a dessert.
Cake. Brownies.
Brownies. All right. And just do the best you can on the spot. So brownies. Yeah, so write brownies in that blank. So yeah, both of you are doing the same thing. So both of you write brownies on blank one, and you're just going to go flip through and do it that way. All right. I need a silly word. Make sure you keep them in order, so probably turn that over. Yeah. Silly word.
A silly word. Silly. Gosh.
Baloney.
I don't know how to spell that.
Silly word.
Give me one.
Farfanugan.
Farvignugan.
Spell that
Farvignugen.
Yes. We'll know what it is. So just write something that looks like Farfanugan. All right. So I need another word for father other than Farfanugan.
Daddy-o.
Daddy-o. So blank number 3 is Daddy-o down at the bottom. Yep. Daddy-o.
Oh, there's one at the bottom.
Yep. Yep. I numbered them so that you would know. So. All right.
It's not.
Number 4 is a year. Need a year.
1973.
1973. All right, and then a celebrity name.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
A-F-L-E-C-K.
Just draw a picture of a duck. Yeah. So, a type of plant.
A rose.
A rose.
Plant.
Rose.
That's a
All right.
flower.
All right. An adjective. Adjective. Descriptive word. Yes. Descriptive word. Something that describes it.
Running.
Running. That's a verb. Yeah.
Adjective.
So descriptive.
Oh, describing happy.
Describing something. So happy.
Is that an adjective?
Yes. Something you'd name a pet.
1973 education.
Something you'd name a pet.
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
I had a horse named Sunshine. Made my daddy and my granddad so mad. But like crazy.
There you go. All right. Number 9. A name of a band.
Eagles. I was going to say Bon Jovi, but...
Bon Jovi.
Yeah, go with Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
B-O-N.
I think I spelled it.
J-O-V-I.
Yeah. All right. Plural animal. So a plural animal.
Elephants.
Elephants.
Platypi.
All right, number 11, a verb ending in ing. So you said running earlier. We could use that if you. All right, running. All right, a number. Almost there.
7.
7. All right, a measurement of time.
Hour.
Hour, or do hours. All right, a body part.
Leg.
Leg. Oh, sorry. I know. All right. All right, and a type of drink.
H2O.
All right. Put H2O. Don't put water. Put H2O. Well, cross it out and do H2O.
Oh yeah.
All right. A type of doctor.
Pediatrician.
Pediatrician. A one-syllable noise.
Burp.
All right. Burp.
That's not how you spell it, but I know that's not.
All right. Sure. Burp. That'll work. So, all right. A plural noun.
Person, place, or thing.
Yes.
Santas. Elves.
Elves.
There's only one Santa.
When we're plural, it's Santai. I believe is the proper term. So. All right. So elves. All right. A mode of transportation.
Wait, slow down.
Canoe.
Canoe?
Yeah.
Canoe.
Oh,
All right. And a holiday.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Whatever. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. All right. So I think our writers have got that all filled in.
An adjective.
Yeah. So we're gonna. You can take your mic off real quick. We're gonna step back here and get ready for this. So someone needs to. Whoever's got. All right. Hi, Santa.
What's wrong? Oh. Hello. Brownies?
What's wrong? You're looking at me like I'm on your naughty list.
I'm counting my toys. 1 bologna short. A Farvik nougat short. I believe you stole it. I should have brought my glasses.
But Daddy-o.
I started making that toy in 1973. What will the little Ben Affleck think when he goes to that Christmas party with nothing under the rose?
I would never steal such a happy toy.
Where were you the night before Christmas?
I was with Sunshine and we were listening to the new Bon Jovi holiday album and making snow elephants with our trunks.
Then why did Rudolph see you running on the roof just 7 hours before the delicious?
That's a coincidence.
Oh, the
reason I work so hard is because I get to spread joy to millions of people and go sit by the fire, shaking my leg while eating cookies and drinking H2O.
Fine. I did it. I stole the toy. But I only did it to impress my pediatrician. She burped. All right.
Did I skip?
No. Should be every.
Okay.
Santa.
That's your turn.
Oh, every time there is a holiday miracle, I sing my favorite Christmas jingle elves.
Jingle elves.
Jingle elves.
Jingle elves, jingle
all
elves.
the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open
canoe. Merry Valentine's Day, everybody!